are back. Home of the prodigal son, young Chad Townsend. And Chad Townsend plays on, plays to the whistle, kicks away for Valentine home. Townsend, brilliant.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Chad Townsend Show. Today we are here thanks to our good friends at BearBet. Head over to the App Store today and download the app. You can join and create an account at the link down below in the description. BearBet has all of your same-game multis or your best odds in sport, fast payouts, and good Aussie service. Please make sure you set a deposit limit. And as always, please make sure you gamble responsibly. Now, on today's show, look, we've got a very, very exciting show for you guys today. Look, we've got our season review continuing on before Christmas from our 2025 reviews. We've got the Sydney Roosters today, and we've got the New Zealand Warriors as well. So before we get into those two teams to review, we've got to look at a quick look at what's trending this day in NRL. Plenty happening, obviously off season at the moment, but there's still a little bit happening. And before we get into that, I'll bring him in. He's here again. Victor, how are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thank you.
We're here on a Wednesday again.
We are. I've had a good start to the morning. I've got up early, went for a run, 6Ks in the bank.
6Ks in the bank. What's your route?
I'm a suburb warrior.
Just the current.
Just through the suburbs.
Through the suburbs.
Through the Shire.
No Esplanade.
I do Esplanade on Friday mornings. Last week I went east though. Last week I went east over to Clovelly.
Clovelly run. I saw that.
Yeah, it was good.
After?
Yes, I did. I just enjoy waking up and running from my house. I don't know, I just find it easy. I don't have to get in the car.
Yep.
So I just find this route that I've got that's like 5K. I just had an extra K on it today, and I usually try and do, this week I'll do probably 22 Ks for the week running.
We love that. What's your target pace?
I don't really have a target pace, to be honest. You see all these stats and stuff on Strava, and if I feel good, I just run faster. If I don't, I just chill. Like I do it for like cardio, and obviously you feel good. So I went for a run this morning, then I got home, went for a swim in the pool, then I had a coffee, and I was just hosing my grass this morning. It was epic.
Mate, all before 9 a.m.
All before 9 a.m. Then I drop my kids to school, then I come to the office to see your pretty face. We just jump on the podcast.
Stop it, mate. It's a hot day out there as well.
It is a very hot day. We've got the aircon cranking
for the pool
here in the office. But yeah, training. I'm building up the training at the moment. Like plenty happening. Like just enjoying my weight. So I've found like a bit of a good routine since retiring. So I'm just trying to, maintain. I'm doing a lot of stuff around my mobility, golf swing, running. Feeling good.
Love it. And you want to tell them how your SG ball coaching's going?
Yes, it's going great. I haven't really spoken about it too much. I am really enjoying it though at the moment. It's really enjoyable just to see these young kids evolve and grow and take on the stuff that you can implement. And obviously it's pre-season, so they're working extremely hard. But there's obviously just a lot of training happening at the moment, and a lot of afternoons where we're quite busy getting in the details and the fitness, and I'm really enjoying it though.
Yep. Love that. Moment. Well, on the topic of Sharks, we'll move into the Sharks' new stadium sponsor.
What's trending? Let's have a look.
Ocean Protect Stadium.
Yeah, so the Sharks yesterday announced a new sponsor for their stadium. Ocean Protect was welcome aboard yesterday with a media launch down at Cronulla Beach, a big marketing occasion, and it just seems to sort of go, these two. Ocean Protect, the Sharks, the launch in at the beach. I don't know. I'm thinking these two like sort of intertwine quite well. I'm loving
the new sponsor.
Well, obviously you are. You're a Sharks fan, so you're obviously going to say that. I'm a rugby league fan right now, Victor. Okay, I'm a rugby league fan.
Unbiased opinion.
Yeah, I've got an unbiased opinion now. But it got me thinking about some of the previous names of the stadium, and there's been a lot. We've done our research. There's been a lot.
There's been a few.
There's been a fair few. So we're going to throw it back. Endeavour Field.
I wasn't alive.
Neither was I. Caltex Field. I was alive. I remember
alive.
Caltex. I remember like playing some stuff called maybe like the Caltex Cup or something when I was a kid. Shark Park. Then we went into Toyota Park. Then moved to Toyota Stadium. Then Shark Stadium, Ramondis Stadium, Southern Cross Group Stadium. I remember that. That was the year we won. I remember it was called that. Then went back to Shark Park, PointsBet Stadium more recently, obviously Shark Stadium again, and now in 2026 a new era, Ocean Protect Stadium. So, I mean, it's historically just Shark Park just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think around here people just call it Shark Park.
Yeah.
I don't personally will not be calling it Ocean Protect Stadium, but
it's more like obviously you get the big, image at the front of the stadium, and then you get obviously every time they say, "Oh, we're down here on the commentary, we're down here at Ocean Protect Stadium." That's kind of where you get the visibility and the big naming rights. So yeah, the logo looks pretty cool. Obviously the little ocean, and I think from the stuff I saw yesterday, Ocean Protect is around like ensuring this drainage or the rainwater doesn't sort of dilute the oceans. That's from my understanding. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure they work on, when it rains a lot and then you see the ocean and it looks a bit murky and rank because of the ocean, because of the drainage. So I'm pretty sure their work is to protect and improve that drainage into the ocean. So the oceans
are protected. We love that.
And we love the ocean, don't we?
We do love the ocean around here.
We love the ocean. So well done to the Sharks. Well done to Ocean Protect. I think this is a really good thing to see moving forward. So let's go. What do we got next, Victor?
Next up, Broncos new logo. They've changed after the premiership winning season. You can see the photo on your screen.
I can see the
Give
photo.
me your immediate thoughts on this logo.
My immediate thoughts... I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, obviously, I'm very I've seen the other Broncos logo for a long time. To me, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like a badge that you get, like, if you're playing PlayStation and you get, like, a badge for, like, I don't know, you've just moved up levels in, like, Equestrian or something like that.
Equestrian?
Or you're playing, like, a horse game.
What game are you playing?
You're playing a horse game and you just won this badge. I don't know. Look, I don't mind it. I think it's very modern.
It's very corporate.
It is yeah. I mean,
it does look nice on the new jersey.
It does look nice. It is very modern, and it's, I don't know, I'm a fan of the Bulldogs new logo as well. Like I like that clubs are moving into like a new era, because it feels like it is a new era of, rugby league and accessibility and fans and engagement and, social media. And so it's just good to see these clubs are obviously coming up with the modern times. It's a very modern logo. It's very modern. It is. So I applaud them for taking that leap of faith and taking the step into the now, especially after doing it after winning a premiership as well. So.
I think there's always going to be a shift, especially because these logos have been around forever. And it's always been still that kind of old age looking logo.
Yep.
And now that we're in a new era, especially the NRL growing
modern
into Vegas, it's modern.
Yep.
And it will open up new pathways for new merch, I think.
You
even see the white logo on the new jersey.
Yep.
You wouldn't be able to do that with the old logo.
100%. Definitely. That's what I like about that. I like that.
Everyone hated the when Instagram changed their logo, so I think everyone will come around.
Yeah, that's just everyone's sort of used to the old school and, whatever it may be. But yeah, I don't mind it. It's new, it's different, and it's modern. So yeah, we'll see what other clubs do, moving forward. Let's go. What's next?
Cody Black joining the Raiders at the end of the 2026 season. And confirmed he's leaving the Broncos. He was doubted to be the successor of Adam Reynolds, but now that obviously Jonah Pezzett comes in, he's going to the Raiders.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, I don't know too much about this young kid. I only hear that he's got a lot of raps on him, and there's a lot of players who, really like the look of him with regards to where he's at so far in his development and his progression, and, that he can play and have a successful career in the NRL. And obviously the Broncos made the pretty big signing of Jonah Pezzett, to move to them after next year, after Adam Reynolds retires. So he's gone to the Raiders, which to me is very, very interesting. You look at their halves or their spine at the moment. You've got Ethan Strange at 5'8". I don't see him moving. Then you've got Ethan Sanders, who has had big raps on him, is only a young kid as well for the Raiders, who will get first crack at the Jamal Fogarty vacant number 7 jersey. And then obviously you chuck in Kobe Black the year after to compete for that jersey, to start. I'm not 100% sure what the Raiders' plans are, but it would be interesting to see how this kind of plays out, because obviously if you have competition for sports, that creates, it brings out the best in players, which is what you want. But these kids are both they're both young. Sanders and Kobe Black are both very, very young or early in the stages of their career. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting signing. It'd be also interesting to know who the Raiders are the Raiders paying more to Kobe Black, or are they paying more to Ethan Sanders? Or are they paying them quite even to just sort of see which one they sort of bring through to start? But I don't know. I don't know if their thoughts are they want to move Ethan Strange to center or whatever that looks like. But
surely not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't
either.
be moving Strange to the centers. I'd keep him at 6, and he's an absolute lock for me at 6 for the Raiders for the next probably 10 years.
What do you think of? Obviously, these Raiders don't have a older, more experienced halfback in this squad. Do you think that affects kind of the development of these young players?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, obviously, they have some good coaching down there in Canberra. Obviously, Ricky Stewart's a past halfback as well. He's one that would be able to sort of instill a lot of good coaching towards these guys. But I just think it's something they may need at some stage. There are stages throughout a career where times get tough and injuries happen or form happens, and you bring in a veteran who can just play that 7 out of 10 every single week and just guide the team around with his communication and his kicking game. From what I'd see, I heard the Raiders were looking for a veteran half. Obviously, there was links with Jake Clifford. There was links with Jackson Hastings that kind of never eventuated. But look, it's interesting to note that they're obviously going with the youth. And how it all plays out, we'll see.
Worked last year.
It did work last year.
Except for Fogg, but
yeah,
their squad's incredibly young.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what do you think of the Eels signing Pezzett for 1 year?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. We're in the business of, it's a professional business now. I don't really think it's a concern at all. This is a chance for him. If he went to Brisbane, he's probably not going to play next year in the halves, because of Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds. But if he goes to Parramatta, he's definitely going to play every single game. It's good for Parramatta. They want a short-term fix. Good for Brisbane. They've got a long-term, option for them as well. Look, I think it's very different signing, but it's an interesting one from Parramatta too, because obviously they were planning for the future with not playing Dylan Brown and putting Joash Papali'i in. But then now they're bringing Pezzett on top of Joash, and
Give him to the Broncos afterwards.
Yeah, give him a back seat, and now put Pezzett in. So that's a bit interesting how that sort of plays out. But I don't mind it. It's fine. I'm fine with it.
All right, beautiful. Yeah. Next up, Roosters season review.
All right, let's go. Let's have a look. Roosters 2025 season review. This is going along the lines of where we're at so far in the year. Obviously, in the lead up to Christmas, we've been doing our season reviews as we head to Christmas, and we've got the Sydney Roosters today, followed by the New Zealand Warriors after. Let's have a look at the Roosters season this year. 13 wins, 11 losses, 653 points for an average of 27 points per game. So the Roosters had the 6th best attack in the competition in 2025. And then with their defense, 521 points per total, against, with 21 points per game. So that ranked them the 7th best defense in the competition. They had a home record of 6-6 and an away record of 7-5. Finished the season 4-1 over their course of their last 5 weeks. So obviously, they were in that battle for the top 8 with Manly and with the Dolphins, and just sort of charged home. A lot of good form, a lot of players playing good football at the right time of the season, which was really, really good to see for the boys. that would obviously lead them into finishing in 8th position and playing the Sharks week 1 at Shark Park 5v8. And obviously that was the game that finished the year, the Sharkies taking out the victory that night. But look, a lot was made over the course of, the Roosters at 2025, losing a lot of leadership, losing a lot of experience. Obviously, Rory Hargraves, Luke Keary, guys that have been around for a long time. Joseph Manu, Joseph Suali'i as well. Like, they're sort of 4 walk-up starters that have been with them for the past couple of years. So, obviously a bit of a transition period for the boys. Their average completion rate was 75%. So this is where the numbers don't read too well for the Roosters from 2025. They made a total of 327 errors on the year. So that's a total of 13 errors per game. And that they lead the league in errors. They made the most errors out of any team in the whole of 2025. So that's an area of improvement for the Roosters. Obviously, their completion rate, 75%, is down the bottom as well. Their error rate, they make the most errors. So obviously, they've got the 7th best defense, the 6th best attack, but then they make the most errors. So obviously, fixing up those errors is probably going to be a huge improvement for Robbo and the team, coming towards next season. The top 4 for errors, most errors in the competition, by the way, in 2025 was number 1, the Roosters, number 2, the Cowboys, number 3, the Knights, and number 4 were the Storm. So 2 teams that were inside the top 8, 2 teams that were outside the top 8 make up the top 4 for errors. The keys to their attack from 2025, well, they weren't short of scoring tries, and especially in the air. Their aerial threat and kicking game to the air, to their wingers, was absolutely outstanding and a real highlight to see. Mark Nwanganitawase finished with 24 tries. He was the top try scorer of the competition. And then on the other wing, you had Daniel Tupou, the veteran, 19 tries. At one stage, it was like Mark and Tupes were like 1 and 2 leading the try scoring tally over the course of the year. So obviously a really key and pivotal part of their game, owning the air, kicking to those wingers. And I thought, that was a really important factor for Sam Walker and Hugo Savala, which, executed that plan around their kicking game. And I think that's something that they will continue to work on over the course of the off-season, and then look and lead up into next year about the kicking game. And look, if you've got a little winger on your team and you're coming up against the Roosters, like, be prepared for it to just rain. It's going to rain on your head. And the reach and the length of Mark and Tubes will just absolutely be there around those high balls. Some more bright spots for the Roosters in 2025. Well, the form of James Tedesco. You just have to stand and just really appreciate what this man did in 2025 and what he has done for a long time in the Tricolours. It was his first kind of season not playing Origin this year. A lot of people sort of saying it was going to start to be the end for Teddy after the course of not playing, New South Wales last year with Dylan Edwards getting the nod. This year, Teddy managed to play every single game for the season. 25 games in total. He scored 11 tries. He had 22 try assists, 21 line break assists, and he had an average run meters of 194 meters. So look, absolutely outstanding numbers for Teddy. He was a Daily M winner of the year and the fullback of the year, and also the RLPA Plays Champion of the year. So just an absolutely amazing season for Teddy. The thing with Ted is, like, you see, there are some fullbacks in the competition where some of them can run for 200 meters per game, but they can't pass and ball play with they can't execute a 3-on-2 pass or a long pass, or they can and can't do certain things. Like, if there's certain plays that can do half of it, some can do one part of it of the game. Teddy can do it all. He can run, he can pass. He even started kicking a little bit more this year, which was a real feature for the Sydney Roosters, especially. I think he had one kick where it was left foot for Billy Smith against the might have been the Dolphins up there where they just ran riot this season. But look, just to sit back and to sort of see how Teddy operated this year, and his leadership was a really big part of his game, and it was just great to see. I really enjoyed watching it, and he was phenomenal, and look forward to watching him go again next year. Obviously, just re-signed for an extra year for the Roosters as well. So 32 years of age this year, turning 33 next year. It's going to be interesting to see how Teddy goes and when he wants to, stop, because at the moment it just looks like there's no signs of slowing down, and he's been doing this for a long time. Some more bright spots for the Roosters in 2025 were Mark Ngawanganituase. Wow. The rugby union convert, absolutely scintillating must-watch TV for the Roosters this year. That try he scored against the Dogs, absolutely outstanding. That balance to stand on one foot, hop and then kick, chase, get it back, absolutely insane. Like I said, 24 tries. He had the most tries in the competition. 23 line breaks as well. Absolutely crazy stats for Marky Mark. And I mentioned his aerial threat. Like if you're in the vicinity of Mark and there's a kick around, like the stuff he does at training is just absolutely outstanding. So obviously got rewarded for rewarded for his form this season with a Kangaroos jersey. Now a dual international. He's obviously going to leave us after next season and head back to rugby union, but at least we get one more year with watching him grow and develop and play. And it's just must-watch TV, to be honest. Yeah. And the thing that you guys may not know about Mark is he's just absolutely one of the best blokes you'll ever meet. So nice. I never saw him like sad or unhappy. Never saw him. Always laughing, bubbly, joking around, like just having the best time. So, yeah, it was just really, really good to see. And obviously, it's even better when guys like that have success on the field. The next bright spot for the Sydney Roosters, Nafahu White. Man, this guy, an absolute beast in 2025. He had 69 total tackle breaks, 1,520 total post-contact meters for the season. He made 670 tackles. His tackle efficiency was 95% for Nafahu White, who's known for his barnstorming runs with the ball, but just really, really sound with his defense this year. The thing with Fahu is that Robbo really relied on Fahu playing big minutes this year. He pushed him out a lot longer. He played a lot more minutes than probably he had done previously. Obviously, he just signed a contract extension this year. He's now a lock in that Kiwi side, whenever they play. So, look, you look at the Roosters front row, obviously Lindsay Collins, Spencer Lenu, and Nafahu White, who was nominated for lock forward of the year. He wore 13 a lot this year, was probably more suited to the number 8 or number 10, but, can just do it all. And the thing with the Roosters is they're very much a powerful team, love to come through the front door. And obviously those three big middles, all had, really good seasons. But I think Nafahu White was probably the standout candidate, for the middles. Sam Walker returned to play, obviously, after that unfortunate ACL injury last year, and his form was absolutely outstanding. His try, assists, and stats, as soon as he came back into play, were off the chart. His kicking game was absolutely electric. I mentioned that high ball to the winger. Obviously, he's well known for his, short kicking game as well. Another thing for Sammy Walks was his goal kicking. Real highlight for Sammy, and see the practice that he put in. He kicked at 93% this year, and it was just really, really good to see. Obviously, coming back in and being able to spend that time to sort of work on the things that are, he wanted to work on in his game. He played 9 games this year, so I think, we're going to be, or the Roosters are going to be better for him, getting back fit. And next year, it's like, now you just go. You go, you take control of the team. You've got Daly Cherry Evans, you've got Reece Robson, which we'll get into post-Christmas about how that's going to look and how that may work. But to me, Sammy stays in the 7, and it'll be really interesting to sort of see how they play out for next year. Some other bright spots for the Roosters, well, the youngsters, the development of this young core group of players led by, Robert Toya, Bobby Toya. This kid made his NRL debut in round 1. He played 3 games of Origin for Queensland, like an absolutely amazing season. Very rarely do we see, a player come in and play Origin having only played 8 or 9 games in the NRL. And Bobby just looked at home. Defensively, unbelievably sound. The job he did in Origin for Queensland on the defensive front was incredible. And it was just so good to see. Bobby's, very, very quiet by nature. Likes to have a little bit of a laugh as well, but obviously works really hard on, his game and had faced a little bit of adversity over the course of his early days in his career, faced some long-term injuries and then made his debut this year. So that was great to see. Some other notable names from the youngsters from the Sydney Roosters, Blake Steep. Wow, Steepy just so impressive. Only 20 years old, Steepy. Like we mentioned before, the second greatest bum chin in Sydney Roosters history. They're only behind Boyd Cordner, and we know the career Boyd Cordner had, but Steepy, Steepy could get to some of those numbers potentially, and that's pretty high praise. I don't want to sort of like compare, but I just, it's a slow and steady growth for Steepy, but he's at the very, very start of, his career. And look, I think he can play Origin. I think he will play Origin. I think he'll play for Australia one day. That's the wrap that I have on Blake Steep, obviously with a lot of hard work and a lot of good performances on the field. I think he can be a representative type player one day. Obviously, Salesi Feketi, another outstanding youngster, and obviously Hugo Savala had an outstanding season this year, came in. His long kicking game was a real feature of his game. So it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays out for next year. But that was some real bright spots, for the Roosters in 2025. Anything to add there, Victor, before we move on for the Sydney Roosters?
I don't think there's anything I could add that you wouldn't be able to add for the Roosters in particular.
I pretty much just spoke about that like I didn't have a front row seat for the whole season, like I wasn't actually there.
I do have a question though. Like, talk to us about how it was behind camp, because obviously this Roosters team is world class, right? But probably underperformed throughout the season. How was handling all of that within close doors?
Yeah, I think it was just a different year for the Roosters. Like I'd obviously only been there for 2 minutes, so I didn't know what it was like previously with regards to the standards of everything. But what it felt like was like, this is a new era. We have to treat this year differently to what we've done previously because of the personnel we have, the young players that we have. Like, if you've got guys like Jared and Manu and all those other guys in there, you can kind of review and preview and give those guys a little bit more information, detail, or like you might be able to have a bit of a blow up at those guys, where it's different for young guys. You've got to treat them a little bit differently. You've got to bring them along with their development. That's what I felt like. Like I said, I don't know that because I hadn't been there, but it was interesting to have that front row seat to see how they operated this year. And I think next year it's like they were here, like on the way up. Next year it's like they can take another step next year. Like I think they'll be thereabouts next year. I don't want to sort of say, well, my predicted ladder and everything just yet, but I like the look of their team for next year.
Yep. Love it.
All right, let's move on to the New Zealand Warriors 2025 season review. 14 wins, 10 losses, home record of 7-5, and an away record of 7-5 as well. The Warriors finished their last 5 games of the year 2-3, so they went into the finals with not great form. Having spent most of the season inside that top 4 and obviously just slid out at the back end of the year and finished in 5th position on the ladder. 6th position, behind the Sharks after that round 27 game. So they did secure the home game, the home final in that bottom half of the 8 and would go on to lose to the Panthers in week 1 of the final. So let's have a look at the numbers for the Warriors in 2025. They had a total of 517 points for. They had the 11th best attack in the competition, averaging 21 points per game. Now, with their defense, they had 496 points against, which was an average of 20 points per game against. So on average, they're winning games 21-20. That's pretty crazy. They had the 5th best defense in the game, and this is where it gets really interesting for the Warriors, breaking down some of their numbers from 2025. They had an average of 81% completion, which puts them ranked at number 1 completion rate in the competition. And that's been a big, big focus for Andrew Webster since he's been coaching over there. The Warriors have been really, really high on their completion rates, and they don't really do too much out of yardage in terms of like shifting and moving the ball. They had an average of 10 errors per game. So that puts them as the 2nd best in errors in the competition. And for the Wars, well, they don't really make too many errors, the Warriors, especially with, their style of play. To me, the Warriors are one of the most dynamic, structured, and well-run attacking teams inside the 10. You look at the craftiness of Wade Egan and the way he's able to hold the ball up and then just sort of throw it over the back of his shoulder out the back. Like it's elite. Elite passing from Wade Egan. And then a lot of the time the Warriors run this shape where like they've got one forward going into the line, another forward going out the back, nice and direct, and then the third forward like hitting another line as well. And they just sort of pick out a defender. One goes on his inside shoulder, one goes on his outside shoulder, and then they sort of drag in the defense. It's a real key feature for the Warriors. You can just only imagine how many reps and how much training they do for it. But obviously you can see, on the back of what Wade Egan can do, and then the middle forwards who can ball play as well. Really key to watch the Warriors when you're watching their try line attack. Some big moments for the Warriors in 2025, and they weren't short of some big moments. Look, some of the big key injuries to key personnel, and it started in round 13. Mitch Barnett, and they were 3rd at the stage of Mitch Barnett, who obviously had played Origin for the New South Wales Blues. That definitely changed their trajectory of their season. And then after round 13, later on in round 17, well, the injury to Luke Metcalf, and they were 4th at the time of Luke Metcalf injury in round 17. So, look, you take out Mitch Barnett and Luke Metcalf, and obviously they're huge losses. And it really changed the trajectory of their season. Tanner Boyd came in. He done a respectable job, but I think if the Warriors are to do something in the finals, I think they need Luke Metcalf, and I think we saw that, this season. As well for Mitch Barnett. Well, his leadership has been instrumental for this team. And you can just see the way how much influence Mitch Barnett has on this team. If you watch the Warriors closely, you're in their huddles or pre-game or post-game, and every now and then you see the camera come up on one of the players, and Mitch Barnett, like he just looks like he's speaking so calmly, so direct, making eye contact, delivering his messages just with impact. And that's something that I actually really enjoy about Mitch Barnett, is just the way he goes about his business. And obviously he does it on the field as well with his actions, which is just, really, really good to see. Some other things for the Warriors. Well, I thought their right edge defense probably wasn't, where it needed to be for the Warriors in 2025. I thought that was a little bit of a weakness for them. A lot of teams attacking towards their left, so obviously the Warriors' right edge. So I think that's an improvement for them over the course of the summer. Another major bright spot for the Warriors in 2025, Leka Halasima. Wow.
Remember the name.
Far out. This kid, man, Leka Halasima, made his NRL debut last season, played 4 games in 2024. He played every game this year in 2025. He scored 13 tries. This is like an edge back rower. He had 7 line breaks. He had 7 offloads. He was just an absolute beast. His tackle efficiency, 94% tackle efficiency. The thing for me with Leka Halasima, that game against Newcastle where he pretty much just won the game for the Wars just by himself. It's like, I'll get the ball, I'll scoop it up, I'll scoop it up, I'll just take on, I'll hit a gap, I'll sprint, and I will go and score. Absolutely crazy. And I really feel like this is a kid that the future has just so many possibilities for this kid, man.
20 years old.
20 years old. Reminds me of my time with Jeremiah Nene when I had Jeremiah in 2022, man. just young, raw, an absolute beast. Tongan descent, just naturally powerful and really, really exciting to see, obviously, with the Warriors and their young core. Dimitri Vaiamanga, another standout for the Warriors. I thought his form towards the back end of the season, as they sort of called on him a lot more, was great. Some more highlights. Aaron Clark, wow. What a season by Aaron Clark. Great to see. Obviously capped it off with that Pac Champs performances for the Kiwis at the end of the year. He played 25 games for the Warriors in 2025. He was absolutely outstanding. He had 66 tackle breaks. He had 37 offloads. His tackle efficiency was 95%, Aaron Clark. So, look, Aaron Clark, his ball carrying is really dynamic. Obviously not the biggest bloke in terms of height, but more like that nuggety shape, can ball play as well. Had spent time at hooker previously earlier on in his career. So, look, I really like the look of this Warriors, forward pack. Obviously James Fisher-Harris, his first year at the Warriors as well. The young group, I think Kurt Capewell had a really good year this year. Obviously, that leadership, that veteran can sort of, bounce between the centers and the back row and still do a good job for the Warriors. So, I think when it comes down to the Warriors, the keys, the big moments over the course of their season in 2025 it was sort of based around the injuries to their key personnel. Metcalf and Barnett, once those injuries happened, long-term injuries, and they were out of the team, to me, watching, I didn't think that the team hit the same heights as they had when they were in the team. And that's why that goes with when they were sort of in that top four and then they sort of slipped out towards the back end of the year. Like I mentioned, their form in the last 5 games wasn't great. They kind of got to the finals and then bailed out week 1. So as well, I do need to give praise to Waz fans. Waz fans played a big part in this team in 2025, continually showing up every week. The sellout crowds they have, the atmosphere they create there, the culture now of rugby league in New Zealand, to me, is more powerful and more dominant than it's ever been before. And it's all based around the Warriors, their style of play. And now that they've been consistently in the top 8 for a couple years, it is just great to see. And Andrew Webster's played a part in that. Cameron George, the CEO, has played a part in that. The players, the fans. And look, if I've got one thing to say, it's just up the Waz. Up the Waz. I love the Waz. Obviously, I played a couple of seasons at the Waz. I always hold the Warriors in a special place in my heart. Obviously, having some Kiwi in me as well. I just can't wait to get back over there. I want to go to Mount Smart. Next year, all right?
We're going to Mount Smart.
Next year, I'm going to Mount Smart. Waz, let's organise this. I'm coming to Mount Smart. We'll do some content, watch the game, get around. Look, I would absolutely love to do that. So let's make it happen.
You and SJ reunion.
We'll maybe play golf with SJ at that awesome course up in North Auckland.
TRI?
I don't know how to say it. Tiari Links, that one. I don't know if I'm saying it right, so I do apologise. But so there's
some beautiful golf out there.
There's some amazing golf in New Zealand. I absolutely love Queenstown. So this is the plan, all right? Go to New Zealand. We'll go golf with SJ. We'll go to a Warriors game. What else? What else can we do?
Go hiking. Hiking vlog.
I've already jumped off the Sky Tower. I've jumped off that. I've bungee jumped off the Auckland Harbour Bridge. I've bungee jumped off the Nevis bungee in Queenstown.
Done skydiving.
I haven't skydived. But, I've already done skydiving. I'm not interested in that anymore. I've done my skydiving. I've ticked that off.
I reckon we do a hiking vlog. There's a track called Tongariro in the north near Taupo, and it's like a 7-hour.
Taupo is south of the North Island.
What?
Yeah, Lake Taupo.
No.
You think it's north of Auckland?
Taupo. Lake Taupo is
Lake
in the
Taupo.
North Island.
Yeah, but like south of Auckland.
South of Auckland.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
sorry, not north of Auckland. It's
I
on the
said-
North Island, but it's south of Auckland. I think. Sorry.
What are you
Sorry.
saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a 7-hour walk, and it's the volcano from Lord of the Rings.
I've played in Taupo before.
Perfect. Well, we
Yeah,
got to do
long time ago.
Let's do a hiking vlog.
Beautiful location actually. So look,
Unreal.
I absolutely love New Zealand.
And they have that hole-in-one challenge.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
on the Lake Taupo?
yeah. I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so up the wires, we're planning a trip to New Zealand. If there's anything else, what should we do? Let us know. Actually, absolutely would love to hear it, and we'll see if we can get that trip going for next year. Anything to wrap it up there, Victor?
No, that's it. Up the wires.
Up the wires. Look, some really interesting takeaways today. Look, if you do enjoy today's podcast, or you did enjoy today's podcast, please make sure you do subscribe. Drop a like, drop a comment, and if you're listening over on the audio, just a rate and review would really be greatly appreciated. Like I said, we're in this stage now where our content's going up. We're creating more content with you guys. We want to give you guys some value and some insight that only we can give. So really thankful for your support. Make sure you head over to BearBet and download the app and create an account. You can find that link in the bio down below. That obviously supports us as well. So I really do appreciate. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Let's go. Shee.